Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to session number 5 of Ninny's Timeline Therapy Intervention. Ninny, in the previous sessions, we have released negative emotions, and now we're going to work on these limiting decisions. Now, we know that limiting decisions precede events, and then after the event, we have limiting beliefs that hold them into place. Now, a lot of people spend a lot of time working on limiting beliefs, but the problem with working on a limiting belief, it doesn't remove that limiting decision that preceded it. So we're going to focus on removing 2 limiting decisions that appeared in the personal history. Now, I'll give you the choice which one you would like to work on first and second, and by choosing the first, it'll make sure that that one releases, and subsequently it'll allow the second one to release easily. So there's 2 that we want to work on here. Number 1, the limiting decision of you are not good enough. And secondly, the limiting decision of that I should compare myself to others. So which would you like to let go of first?
Can I say that is actually I'm not perfect enough?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I say to myself. It's not like, it's like not just, I'm not just want to be good. I just want to I want to be perfect. So it's actually another level of it's like, I'm not perfect enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's the higher level? What's the lower level? You're not good enough or you're not perfect enough?
I'm not perfect enough.
And if you get rid of the limiting decision of I'm not perfect enough, will that dissolve the limiting decision of I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
Or do they need to be dealt with separately?
I think perfect enough is the one that has to be dealt with. Because for me, I always just want to be, I want to look good. I want to be the best. I want to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a word always in my dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look good, very good. I want to look perfect. I want to look flawless.
Excellent.
So I think that's the things. It's not like I want to lower my standards, but I feel I kind of get into that extreme and beating myself up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is there any good time to lower your standards in life?
How do you mean? Can you ask that question again?
Is there any good time to lower your standard?
No. There's no good time. I don't want to lower my standards.
Excellent.
But I think what I wants to improve is that even though, like I said, I still will do my best, but instead of, if I couldn't hit 95 or 90, I'm still happy with 85 or 88. Mm-hmm. I'm not self-criticize myself. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I'm can be a little bit struggles because if I didn't hit, say that, reach that mark, I actually will have those negative criticism inside of my head.
And if you did achieve 100% in anything that you're doing, could you love yourself 100%?
Yeah.
Cool. And if you got a score of 95%, could you still love yourself 100%?
I think I still love myself, but I'm not sure it's 100%.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you? If you got 95, could you still love yourself 100%?
I think can try. I don't know. Yeah, probably can.
Probably.
Yeah.
Try. I just want you to think through the question.
I know what you're trying to ask. It's like
if you achieved a mark of 95%, could you still love yourself 100%?
I think at the moment I'm not.
Mm-hmm. The question is, could you?
Yes, I could.
Good. And if you received a mark of 90%, could you still love yourself 100%?
Yep.
And if you got a mark of 80%, could you still love yourself 100%? Or are you tying your lovability to your pass marks or scores?
I think that's where am I?
And are they the same things or are they two separate things?
I know it's two separate things, but I tied up as a one thing. It's like I evaluate myself with how good I am with the mark, with the ability, with the skill.
And is that helping or hurting you?
I think I don't know. One hand is kind of good, so because make sure that I'm not being lazy. You know, like I always like, okay, what else I can learn or what else I can do. So it kind of pushing me. But at the same time, I don't think it's healthy. It's because I think I pushed myself or criticized myself to a point like I get sick, which is probably right now.
Oh, so you criticize yourself till you get sick. So this strategy is doing you harm. So let me ask you, do you have children?
Yep.
How many?
2.
2. Okay. Now, if your daughter, our daughter, goes to school and she gets a grade of 100%, how much do you love her?
100.
100. Okay. If she comes home and she has a grade of 95%, how much do you love her?
100.
And if she came home with a grade of 80%, how much would you love her?
100.
Interesting. Now, we've also got a son. How old is he?
6.
6. And if he came home with a grade of 100%, how much would you love him?
100%.
And if you got a grade of 95%?
Still 100.
And if you got a grade of 80%, how much would you love him?
100. I think I don't have problems with others, but it just I did
and
it
we've
to
also
myself.
got a cat, a big blue cat, and she shits outside the litter box.
I know.
And how much do you love her?
Too much. 100%.
100%.
Maybe 200.
200, and it doesn't matter what she does, you still
Love her.
Now, what if you applied that same logic to yourself? Then what would happen? If you loved yourself unconditionally like you do others, then what would happen?
I definitely will feel more enjoy, having more joy in my life, but also I would say probably can be more living in the present. Like, what I mean is that I won't just think about the future. It's like, okay, what else I can do it better. So the future result will show differently. So probably can more focusing on the present.
And if you applied that strategy of unconditional love to yourself for any grade that you got or for any flaw that you had, then what would happen?
My God, this too hard.
Well, it's only hard because you haven't thought about it yet.
Probably can just be myself a little bit more. Be myself. Accept who I am. I think probably be happy. Physically can be more healthier. I think both mentally, physically, but also spiritually, I guess.
And not loving yourself unconditionally, does that make you happier?
No.
And not loving yourself unconditionally, does that make you healthier?
No.
So does that strategy of anything less than unconditional love help or hurt you?
Hurt you.
So we better get rid of it, hey?
It's such an interesting strategy. Like now I think about it.
Would you recommend it to your children?
No, like I
Would
said.
you recommend that strategy to your mum?
No, but
Would you recommend that strategy to your clients?
No.
That's not a...
Yeah, it's like I only did that to myself.
Are you ready to stop it?
I won't apply to anybody else, but I will do that to myself. Like, how bad Miu was with all the, our dog have all the...
Was past tense or is still currently?
Is still currently, but, like we still loving her, we still tolerate her, but, so it's just very interesting that I have this strategy for myself. Yep. Probably
As we say, apply to self. If you can apply it to others and you apply it to yourself, then you're going to get a different result. And the strategy is either going to be healthy or hurtful. And we can see there, as the mind wrestles with this, we can see that heart rate variation shifts significantly, and we can see it loses coherence. So even the science here, the body's telling us that this strategy doesn't help you, it only
Damage me?
damage you. Okay. Well, is it all right for your unconscious mind for you to release this limiting decision today of, I'm not perfect enough, and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yep.
What is the root cause? The first event which, when disconnected, will cause the problem to disappear. If you were to know, was it before, during, or after your birth?
Before.
Before. If you were to know, was it in the womb or before?
Before.
Was it in a past life or passed down to you genealogically?
Past life.
And how many lifetimes ago?
500.
Excellent. I'd like to ask your unconscious mind to float up in the air above your timeline into the past and down to the event 500 lifetimes ago, right into position number 4. And when you then notice what emotions are present, and note if you're aware of the decision that was made there too. So what is the emotion?
Is that I lost something. I lost some competition.
Mm-hmm. And what's the emotion?
Emotion is like disappointment. I'm not perfect good enough. That's why I didn't get selected.
Okay. Not, what was that? Not perfect?
Yeah, I'm not that perfect.
Not that.
That's why I didn't get selected. I didn't win the competitions.
Okay. Now float back up above the timeline and go to position number 3. Well before the beginning of the event, or any of the chain of events that led to that event, and turn and look towards now. And preserve the positive learnings. When you have your learnings, tell me what they are.
I think that positive learning for me is that is something out of my control. So another part, I think, is that I only can control the things that I can control. I cannot control others' people's opinions, others, people's reactions. So I think positive learning is that I still need to respect myself. How should I say it? Is that the positive learning is that I shouldn't let the outside factor to determine who I am, determine what's my value of as an individuals. So, I know my strength. I know what I'm good at. And, people value me, and instead of wanting other people to value me, I should know that I know myself the best. I know myself better than anybody else. So I should value myself first, then waiting and wanting other people to value me. So positive learning is that I always need to value myself first, give that internal validation first. And that's the most important things. Positive learning also for me is that back then, I have all the resource that I need. The way I'm thinking or acting can be differently, but not, so I think positive learning is that I need to understand that everybody have different taste, everybody have different preference, and I need to respect that. It's not a reflection of that I'm not good enough, or not perfect enough. And always remember, I think that positive learning for me is that even though, if the God closed that door, it doesn't mean that they won't open another door for me. There's always more opportunity there for me to have my place, to enjoy what I'm doing, to share who I am. And I think the positive learning for me is that if that was 500 times years ago, I think is enough that I need to stop this cycle for this lifetime. What does that mean is that so I can enjoy my life to the fullest. I can be more adventurous. I can more willing to try new things. So I think one thing for me, positive learning is that I shouldn't judge myself or love myself to the to evaluate myself to the degrees how good with the external thing that I did. Can be the score or whatever or career success to evaluate that. I think there's so many things. There's so many things in my life I can look into it. It's not just the career or the money itself. It's also about that personal fulfillment, personal sense of that accomplishment that from the heart. Also, the family as well. Travel, all a lot of things that I need to also put into considerations. So positive learning is that there's so many things that in life that I also need to put fair evaluations.
Excellent. Any other positive learnings for you, for yourself, and for your future?
And I think a very important the learning for me is that no matter what happened, I always need to love myself and value myself because I am my own individual, doing what I can, learning what I can, become the best I can. No matter what score that it is, that will be, I always need to remember that I'm always 100%. I always get a 100% score no matter what happens. So what that means is that I always need to love myself 100% no matter what happened in my life. And that's most important because as long as that I truly love myself 100% no matter what, everything can be fixed. Everything can be adjusted. Everything have new choices and opportunity to make it better. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, where are the emotions?
Let's go.
Excellent. And the decision, did it disappear too?
Yep.
And float down inside the event to position 4, looking through your own eyes and check on the emotions. Are they there or have they disappeared now?
Disappear.
Good. And the decision too, it's disappeared?
Yep.
Excellent. And come back to position number 3. And come back to now only as quickly as you allow all the events between then and now to reevaluate themselves in light of your new choices. And let go of all the negative emotions on those events. Assume position 3, preserve the learnings, let go of the emotions, and allow each event to reevaluate itself all the way back to now. And as you come back to now, I'd like your unconscious mind to allow you to notice at least 3 or more events where you could have respected yourself. But because of the decision we just deleted, you didn't notice the possibility, and now you can.
Huh? Yep.
Excellent. And when you're ready, open the eyes. Now there's one big tear rolling all the way down the left cheek and a second one rolling down the right cheek. What does that mean to you? Big yawn.
I think just it's kind of that come to that realization that I should give myself more credit for that with a lot of things that I did. I think I did it for myself and not try to impress other people's. So I have to remember to give myself credit for that. I do certain things because I want to become a good human, in this lifetime.
Now, how do you feel about that old decision?
I think it's that I don't know, I find it hard to assess that old decisions at the moment. But the message like I learned is that old style is not serving me. So I need to start a new strategy. The new way is that accepting myself, loving myself more with everything that I do, and give myself credit for that. And then, enjoy what I'm doing at that moment. So, that also mean that I should give myself more opportunity and more room to try.
Excellent. And I want you to go out into the future, to an unspecified time in the future that would be most appropriate, and imagine a time when something like this could happen again, and how do you react? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you react?
I actually see myself like having a conversation with you, but I feel more relaxed. I feel like, okay, we try new things, but it's kind of like having some positive conversation. That energy is like, I feel I'm more open to it. Also, I keep seeing a photo, like a picture of that I sitting in front of my computer and then having those consultation call, like a sales call. So I think can be something related to the new thing that we're going to do. I see myself very happy, actually. Happy and relaxed and ease, and energy was really good.
Excellent. And when you're ready, come back to now. Wonderful. Now, there's some wonderful learnings in there. And I want to check in. By removing that limiting decision, did it also remove the other one?
The one of comparing myself with others? Yeah, because I feel like now is that the energy and the focus, I want to put it on myself. So I only care about my own result, doing the best I can, and then not beating myself up.
Excellent. Wonderful. Now, what did come out there when we were reframing at the beginning of the session was there was definitely a parts conflict about self-acceptance and self-love. So as we move into the next stage of the intervention, now that we've cleared away those limiting decisions, I'd like to integrate these parts and just to make sure that all parts within you fully accept you and there's nothing but self-love. How does that sound? Thumbs up? Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a short break. Join us in a few moments where we're going to continue the timeline therapy intervention. We're now moving into the cleanup work and we're going to do a parts integration and to ensure that there's no inner conflicts. Now, an inner conflict can be described as a part of me accepts myself, but the other part rejects me. Commonly known as having an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. In the next session, I will show you how we clean that up.